I'm Zeina Arida. I'm the director of the Arab Image Foundation, which is a Lebanese non-profit founded in 1997 by a group of artists. The founding members were Fouad Al-Khoudi, photographer, Akram Zaatari, who was a video artist at that time, and Samer Mu'adad, a photo reporter. This initiative was started in 1997 at a very special moment in Lebanon, which is the post-war period, where people from my generation mainly were interested in questioning the relationship to the past, to our recent history, but also in the case of the founding members of the foundation and the other members who very quickly joined the group. The question was also related to our own visual culture, looking at past practices related to the image and to the use of image in the Arab world. And that was one of the main ideas behind the creation of the foundation. The different persons who have actively worked in building this collection, the artists who are part of the Arab Image Foundation, didn't necessarily share the same vision about what does it mean to collect, how do we collect, what kind of images we collect. So somehow the fact that the foundation didn't try to draw one single vision about collecting and constituting a collection of photographic practices, as a result, the collection is very rich and very atypical. The different artists who were interested in collecting were not motivated by the same themes. Since the beginning, we linked we were very interested in linking the photographic research and acquisition of photographs to artistic projects that the members who were researching and collecting would be interested in working on. Not even a year after we started collecting images in '97, we had the opportunity of exhibiting the result of a year of research in Lebanon. So in 1998, we did this exhibition with the Institut du Monde Arabe. The idea was to show a sample of different photographic practices we had collected in Lebanon. So it was amateur photographers, professional photographers, but also snapshots, family albums, and photographs. Our photographic collection is not an art collection. It's a collection of different photographic practices that we are interested in compiling and working on, us as part of this organization, but also us as a community, as a group of people sharing same questioning maybe about the history, about the past. We might have a different perspective on what we were doing actually at that time and what the artists involved in the foundation were doing, which today we can really see that somehow not only through the building of the institution, which is the Arab Image Foundation today, the artists were very interested in actually somehow building a history for maybe building our own history or the understanding of this history. One of the results is actually the fact that we are basically setting up programs as to invite more people, researchers, scholars, artists to work on the collection. And the artists who were building the institution also were the ones initiating projects. We were always, the foundation's archive was always open to anyone who wanted to use it, but we didn't have specific programs as like artists in residency or I don't know, a yearly exhibition. When Akram, for instance, who has basically built a big part of the collection because he was very active in collecting and traveling and researching collections. when Akram would, when you visit a photographer, a collector, a family, and look at his photographs, you basically build a very intimate relationship with this person, and most of the time this is the opportunity or occasion for this person to start telling you his life story. So somehow not only you are building this relationship that is very private, but also you are getting a better and different understanding on the material that you are collecting. And this is very, I think this is what makes a big difference with the way the foundation and its members collected the images, the relationship they built with these images and other photographic archive. The difference is that only artists were collecting with their special look, their special eyes, having in mind different considerations, knowing their own visual culture, knowing what they were interested in. They were the ones looking at photographs and selecting photographs for the collection. We never hired a historian, a scholar to research images. So we always linked this contemporary artistic practice to actually the act of collecting old photographs. I think that what makes the foundation a very different collection and very different project also is the fact that we had the chance of working without almost history of art frame. So I think that also this is what makes the foundation's project very different, even in, I'm not talking about Lebanon or the region, but also related to other photographic archives throughout the world. We basically have the chance of contributing to building a certain understanding of our history of photography and history of photographic practices. Maybe this gave the artists in the foundation freedom in the way they were using the images and displaying them, and maybe this is also one of the reasons why the projects that were based on our collections, the artistic projects that were done by Akram Zaatari, I can name a few ones like The Vehicle, which is an exhibition and a book he did in 2000, or Mapping Sitting, which is an exhibition again and a book that he worked on with Walid Rahat. These projects were very, actually, when you look at, when you viewed the exhibition Mapping Sitting, you were looking at the work of two contemporary Lebanese artists, Akram and Walid, but at the same time, their practice was built around the idea of enhancing these archives. I think this is what is the main difference also with what the artists in the foundation were able to do. We always, I think that this was almost common to all the artists who were involved in the foundation since the beginning. We always looked at the images we were collecting as an image. We did not really give a big importance to the original on which this image was printed. So this is how we were interested in all kinds of photographic documents and all kinds of photographic media. The work of professional photographers, you can access them today. What remains of it is always under the form of negatives. So a big part of our 600,000 collection, 600,000 photographic items collection is negative based because we got these documents from the photographers. The prints that we collected and we still collect very often comes from family albums or family snapshots, amateur photographers. So the prints themselves also are very often small size. And for us, it was always very clear that we were not trying to build a collection of a museum collection. We were really trying to look at the content of the image and work on what information this image can give us. So we never bought, we never paid money for any family photograph. We even photographers with whom we met and with whom we collaborated on a big number of images, we always tend to tell them that what we were paying them in order to get their work was mainly advance on copyright, so that we do not create this commercial relationship between us and them. And I mean, this is the case of Hashim al-Madani, which is one of our biggest archive. It is the biggest archive at the foundation. Akram Zaatari has been working on researching the work of Hashim al-Madani, who's a photographer from Saida, who's been photographing for the past more than 50 years, and who still has his studio almost the same than it, I mean, the studio is almost the same than it was 50 years ago. And Madani has still a very good memory, and so Akram has been working with him and on his collection for the past almost 10 years. We're talking of photographers who were not practicing their photography as artists, but who were practicing their photography as a job, and this is the case of most of the photographers in the region for the period we're talking about, which is early century till 1980, and this is basically the period on which the foundation focused the most. The collection covers a number of countries in the region. We've been able to go more often to certain countries than others. I mean, so far the members traveled and collected images from Lebanon, Syria, Jordan, Egypt, Palestine, Iraq, Iran, Morocco. We didn't go, for instance, to Algeria, Tunisia, which doesn't mean that we're not interested, but we were not really able to concretize a research project there. We've always also relied on the interest of the members in researching certain themes or certain places, because as I mentioned, the idea was to for them to look at images while deciding what they're going to acquire, in the idea of working on them on their projects. I mean, this is how Lara Baladi went to Senegal. We are also very interested in researching images from the immigration or diaspora. I think the main difference between a collection and an archive is that a collection is built intentionally, so you are active in building a collection, whereas an archive is the result of years of work. So today, for instance, there is a need and motivation to build the historical archive of the foundation, and this is what I'm working on now for a project of an exhibition and a publication that's going to look at the past 15 years at the foundation, and that's going to really work on the projects that were done, and this project was initiated by the MACBA, the Museum for Contemporary Art in Barcelona. And for us at the foundation, it's an occasion of really building what I call a historical archive. And for me, this is exactly the difference. An archive is everything. I mean, the foundation's archive includes the books, includes the letters, the correspondency, the contracts with the collectors, everything that we have accumulated throughout the past 16 years. As the collection is really, in our case, only our 600,000 photograph collection. We've always tried to diffuse the photographic collection in different ways as to reach different audience. So, I mean, for instance, apart from the exhibitions and publications that we were initiating and organizing, we also collaborate with newspapers. We initiated a certain projects where, for instance, every day one picture was published. And I mean, the aim behind this is to reach a bigger audience who's not necessarily interested by artistic projects or venues. Of course, we have an online database that has been functional for the past 8 years, and that it's a tool to access the collection and search for images and get back to us in order to ask us the right of using these images. 16 years, the foundation today occupies its third premises, and for us it is really not an easy thing to do, to move the collection, and every time we have to build another cold storage room, it's costly, and on the long term it is not very securing. And one of the reasons why we moved to these premises is that we wanted to have a space open to the public on regular hours, which the other office did not enable us to do. It was too small. So here we've set up this library with all the books that we had, but also with the number of books that we bought in order to complete the library. So for us it became a priority to open up this archive to the public, more generally to students. We've questioned for a long time the idea of having of managing ourselves an exhibition space, and we came up with the conclusion that we were not interested today because we have to focus, and we chose to focus on working differently. I mean, the foundation being a small structure till today cannot afford having different priorities, and managing an exhibition space is a huge task and very costly, so we intentionally decided not to go towards this direction. And we've been going through a really difficult financial situation for the past 3 years, and it's becoming more and more difficult to secure funds to continue working on processing collections, on preserving them, and we really need to, I mean, this was also the financial crisis that started a few years ago, was also for us a motivation to think about the longer term and think about the sustainability of the project, and question the fact that we started doing this as our initiative. It's a private initiative. It's individuals who built this collection. We play the role of a national archive. We answer photo research. We answer photo requests. We serve different kind of communities, but we are not supported by any governmental institution or so I've tried a few years ago, before moving to these premises, to initiate a discussion about the idea of being hosted by any other institution where it would be relevant, or even I tried to have a space given to the foundation. So far I did not succeed. I think that it would be very interesting for the foundation to be part of a larger project. As I mentioned, we are a Lebanese non-profit. It's a private initiative that works for basically common mission. We have always relied on grants from American and European institutions. So it's been 16 years that we were able to work, collect, preserve, process collections, exhibit them, publish them. We've been able to answer many different photo requests. I mean, we've been working thanks to grants and to a committee of private donors, which is I mean, depending on the years, is more or less active or more or less includes a number of individuals. And from Lebanon and from the Arab world, the support has been very minor, I would say. We've always had a main partner, corporate partner, which today is the Banque Libano-Française, and who engaged into a 5 years partnership with us, which is really great for the foundation. We really need to increase local support, whether through individual support, corporate sponsors, in-kind donations, and I mean, this is the priority today, because not only we need this financial support, but we also need to give a sense of ownership to everyone in our region about our collection. This collection belongs to everyone. We're not building it for our own interest or purpose, but we're building it in the idea of sustaining it for future generations. And this sustainability is possible only if we have the support of individuals and institutions and the public sector.